or something else. We'll be fine.
No, I'm good with that. That sounds great. Why?
Good evening, Internet. Welcome to the International Writers Fellowship on this 6th of May. We are in May, people. How are we in May? Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Jeez. Oh, Emily, I haven't got no sound, lovely. You. Modern technology, don't you love it? How are you doing, Erica, whilst Ember has a technological meltdown?
I'm good now. And this evening we'll see.
We will indeed see. Tell you what, Amber, you just keep going on and we'll let you know when we hear you. Charlene's here already.
Hi, Charlene.
Hi, Charlene. Nope, sorry, Amber. Nope, no, nothing. Sorry. Sorry.
How are you, Dan?
How am I? Yeah, just a bit came out of clients 10 minutes ago, so I'm like, okay. So I'm still in and how does that make you feel mode?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, nope, sorry, Amber. Tried logging out and logging in again. Or just swearing at it, I don't know. It tends to be how it works for me. Just hit it until it comes in. Percussive maintenance, as the doctor would call it.
Yeah, Charlene is on board with the hit it.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, it always works. Like there's nothing. I was about to say there's nothing that can't be helped by a good kicking, but that might be seen as condoning domestic abuse. Oops. But yes, I'm not too bad. It's just been busy. You know what it's like. It's a bank holiday here, so I woke up thinking today was the weekend because my wife and my son are at home, and then my alarm went off. It's like, I have clients. I've got clients. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was rock on. Yeah. How's the writing going? Is the writing going?
Not. I mean, no. We talked about creativity and inspiration and how all that comes last week, and a thing happened in one of my client sessions last week. Okay, can we hear you now?
Can we hear you?
Can you?
Yay!
Yes,
yay! Hi, internet. I was going to say internet, and then everybody, and I said Interbin. Hi, Interbin.
Interbody. Hello, Interbody. How you doing?
Yeah, Erica, go on.
In one of my D&D sessions, and one of the early criticisms for D&D is that DMs were mind controlling their players, right? The people who made those criticisms have never DM'd, and I felt like our DM because my client asked me, well, what were their names? So we were in a place and there were these tombs, and he asked me what the names were on the tombs. Okay. I didn't have names for the people on the tombs, but all of a sudden I figured out who they were, and now I have a backstory, like how to fit them into the full story.
Of course you do.
But then I got to really thinking, because the one story had been kind of on hold for a while, the pirate with the hope box and all of that, and I hadn't really fleshed a lot of it out, and so I've started really fleshing out
I can see where
a lot of it, and so I've started kind of like writing that down, which is so writing stuff that's not the stuff that I've been writing. That's a long way to answer that question. That's how the writing's been going.
Good. Well, but it sounds like you've been having fun. There's the long and short of it.
Uh-huh.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Hi, Amber. How you doing? We haven't seen you for a couple of weeks.
We can't hear you anymore.
It's gone again.
Oh, I just had the mute button on because I was clicking.
That would do it. That would do it.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
It's me, Amber. I have a microphone that works, and I'm a professional.
I never claimed to be a professional.
We try. We try to be professional here. As you can hear, I'm still getting over my cold, and I had a big family party to plan last week. So after that, after I took a couple days to be sick and didn't get better, I was planning. So I feel like, Dan, I'm not coming from clients, but I'm coming from like a whirlwind of people and planning, and I'm on that adrenaline letdown of like big event, and boom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I feel you there. I really do.
Big family events, they just like drain you and leave you feeling like a corpse.
Or families, for that matter.
No, I love them. It was just a lot. So it's good to be here, kind of back in routine.
Yeah. Shall we do cards? I haven't done cards for a while. Who's I can do cards unless who did cards last week?
I did. And it had the big convoluted description and then had the one line that was great on the other side.
What card was it?
It was from the Osho, the Zen of Tarot deck.
Oh.
Do you want to do it, Amber, or shall I do it? Or...
Why don't you? I'm still getting used to my space too. I do have my tarot cards back here for easy access, but it's all still coming together.
And just so you guys know, I'm starting to hear some rumbly thunder. So if I go away, we've probably lost power.
If you go away, I will start praying to Almighty Zeus.
Indeed, and say, bring her back to us. We need her here. So let's go with the Femme Folk Oracle deck. I like this deck. It comes in a nice bag and everything, and we haven't had a look for it for a while. So
I do love a nice bag.
I'm saying nothing. I'm making no innuendo out of that.
Because I'm a lady, and I like a purse. I like a nice bag.
I'm a lady.
I'm a pretty lady, and I carry a purse.
Right.
The event, by the by, was a high tea, so I was thinking of you the whole time, Dan.
Oh, I'm sure.
I almost made my cousins sing "God Save the Queen," and then we realized that none of us know the lyrics. So.
Well, and also, it's not "God Save the Queen" anymore. Obviously.
It is in my heart.
She
lives in her corgis forever.
So, from the Femme Folk Oracle deck, we have drawn Soul, Responsibility. And if I could remember my alphabet, I would be able to tell you. I'd be able to say where that comes in the book. Here we go. Soul, Responsibility. So, Sol, the Norse personification of the sun, rides her golden chariot across the sky each day to bring forth the daylight from atop the heavens. She is the eternal bright bride of the sky, mentioned throughout both the poetic and prose Eddas. Her two horses, Early Riser and Swift, Early Riser, ew, lead the way.
Because he gets up early.
I know, ew.
Oh. Not a big deal.
Getting out of bed early? No. Lead the way and are followed every night by her brother Mani, the personification of the moon. Skoll and Hati, the offspring of the great wolf Fenrir, chase Sol and Mani relentlessly in the hopes of eventually devouring them. While Norse mythology does not consider a solar deity to be a focal point, Sol is held in high regard and became the origin for the word Sunnudagur, Sunday. Sol shines brightly through the clouds to inspire you with responsibility. Knowing that you are responsible for your reality might feel like a burden at times, but in the end, it is the greatest gift one could hope to receive. Without some form of structure within our lives, we could lose our way along the path towards balance, looking for comfort in energies that seek to cause harm. Just as Sol takes charge of each day by lighting up the sky, you must take responsibility for yourself and your own well-being. When we stop looking to blame others, we glow with self-empowerment and cast out the shadows of negativity.
Well, okay then.
Ponder, ponder, ponder.
I was going to come to the group with the question of like, how do we keep ourselves accountable for our writing? And so, yet again, the cards have just reached into my psyche, and I'm like, "What's up, Ember? Hey."
Yeah, it's terrifying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because writing-wise, I have been very not responsible. I have, in as much as I've done 0. I've been very distractible of late.
Same though.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. April was International Poetry Month. I'm not entirely convinced we discussed poetry at all. We discussed discussing poetry, but at no point did we actually discuss poetry.
I think we read a couple.
No, we
of
did.
poems.
We did on the very last. We did what on the very last Monday.
So last
Did we?
week.
We did because I read my blackout poem.
You read your blackout, but yeah, good. Okay. So once again, Erica saves us all.
We did it.
Look at us. We're a great writing group. We talk about the hot topics and everything.
Look it. None of us are poets.
Right. Like, and so that is not one of our strengths.
I kind of like to write poetry, or I'd like to have written some. I don't know if I'd actually like to write it.
I think you like the idea of being a poet, but I feel like this is a natural arc into the Taylor Swift thing, and I want to go there, but I don't want to go there.
The Taylor Swift thing. I'm sorry.
Her new album dropped, the Tortured Poets Department.
Did it?
You know, okay, we're not.
I'm a classical rock guy. Taylor Swift is. I'm a Swiftie as soon as anybody says anything about her, because she doesn't deserve the amount of crap that she gets. But I don't pretend to know any of her music.
Fair enough. Internet algorithm, should you have picked up on those keywords, we are not a Taylor Swift stream, so
Go away. Yeah. But
I'm
anyway,
just not
sorry.
emotionally prepared to handle the Swifties, so we don't need to unpack the album and the feelings about poetry that I have based on said. Yeah.
I'm still entirely not sure what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it.
I tried it into a hot topic, and I'm stepping away now.
Fair enough.
That's it.
No, what's that film? Is it Dead Poets Society?
Mm-hmm. I watched it once. Anyway, we are not poets. We did not do a big poetry month thing. We are writers. Camp that thing.
Yeah, Camp November writing.
There's a Camp November writing thing in, I want to say June or July, but
July.
You know, so typically May would be the start of like prepping for that, I think. But we could also talk about being accountable in our own writing together as a group, absent of the problematic.
Yeah, I think
writing thing.
Camp is in July.
I think you're right. I remember it was very, very, very hot, and I thought to myself, at what point during the day am I supposed to be able to write? It's 110 degrees, and I can't think.
You see, I'm going to be in San Diego at the end of July, so
it'll be 110 degrees, and you won't be able to think.
I bought the best shirt in existence for my holiday. And I love it so much. I shall show you a god awful. Where is it?
Oh, you don't even have it in hand yet. You're this excited.
Oh no, I've got it. It's arrived, and I've taken a selfie of me wearing it because it is so horrendous, and I love it so much.
Lord, we have to start.
There is also camp in April.
Oh, well, so there.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Dan goes to California. I am not prepared. The state of California is not prepared. I feel like I have to find a way to get to San Diego now. I'm like, what?
What, just to warn people off? He's coming.
But you're coming most of the way, and I'm like, I'm on the opposite end of the state, but I don't know. We'll talk off stream.
We're talking, but it's not. I'm sure I'll be doing it again.
I still live a very far away from San Diego, so.
No, as in I'm sure I'll be coming to the US again, which means I'm sure we can. You never know. You're worth making the effort for, is the point I'm making.
Is this your first trip to the US of A?
It is my first trip to the US of A.
I'm so excited. I feel like I have questions I don't even know what to ask yet. Okay.
Don't worry, we've still got a couple of months. You've got plenty of time. Don't worry. Yes, but yeah, that shirt is the most hideous thing in existence, and I love it so much.
I love an ugly shirt.
Yeah, it's just the worst, and I cannot wait to be seen in public wearing it. And now I can say to my son, "Hey, piss me off, and I will go out of the house with you wearing this." Mm-hmm.
Put your arm around him.
I know, son. Yeah, we're together.
That's my son.
Yeah, he
right here.
Yeah, might come from me. Yeah. So.
You like my shirt? He thinks it's great.
He loves it. It's the best thing, everybody.
Oh, we have a new chatter. What's up, Dulzy Cat?
Hello, Jules. Thank you very much indeed for coming along. Yes, I think it looks amazing and not at all terrible. This is my son, everybody. Yeah, I just...
Look at my son.
Wedding photos.
Pride is not the word I'm searching for. Okay.
Anyway, so that's... Yeah, and I've got others on the way with dice and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. The world is not ready.
You've been purchasing special shirts specifically for...
Yeah.
This is what we love about Dan. Dan's going on a trip, and Dan says, I don't have nerdy enough shirts. I have to get more nerdy shirts for my trip.
It is like the mecca of Comic-Cons, though.
It's true. It's true. He's, it's like you've never swum before, and you're like diving into the deep end. You're like, I'm just going for it. So the excitement is real.
Plus, Wolverine and Deadpool's coming out. And see, it's coming out whilst I'm there, and I'm thinking, I mean, it'll be impossible to get cinema tickets there because every nerd in the world will be there and going to see the same film. But might be cool to try.
I don't think it would be impossible. I think you underestimate the American cinema.
Do I? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because American cinema worker, like the first day or so, sure, but after that, you'll get in. Sorry.
Well, and they'll also have multiple showings in, like, I mean, they may have if the theater has 10 things, they may have 5 of them with that show showing.
I just remember, I don't know what it was like in the US, but I just remember the queues to get into Lord of the Rings. Granted, that was a bit of a while ago, but I was at university at the time in Manchester, and the cinema that we went to is just over multiple floors just to get to the reception. And the queue was all the way up the escalators, 4 floors of escalators, down through the courtyard, back out onto the street. It was insane, but also one of those things that I would never have missed for the world.
You're going to hate me. Sorry, Erica, you go first.
No, I am not. Stop it. But yes, go ahead.
For Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, I was the first one in line at our theater, and I had created a trivia game that we played, and my friend and my husband and I played, and got on the news because I was the first one there.
I love that for you. I did not have to wait in queues to see The Two Towers and The Return of the King because I worked at the movie theater at the time. So we got the movie and watched it early.
Ha 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 ha.
And we did that for basically any major release between 2003 and 2006, I saw a day early at least. Which I got to tell you, when last Matrix movie came out, we had a joke that we were going to tell the next day at school. We were going to be like, "And Neo dies," and then we were like, "No, joke's ruined. Joke's ruined. We can't do it because we can't."
We can't. Yeah, no, it's spoilers. But yes, Jules is right. The LOTRQs were the best. But also, rest in peace, Bernard Hill.
I saw that.
King Theoden.
Man, it's been a minute since I've seen those movies.
The King of Rohan.
No, I know, but like I'm not pulling up an image. I'm just seeing a grizzled old white man in a crown. Oh, the fanfictioneer guy steps, tumbles, trips, and fumbles into the chat room from a silver portal. Fanfic's accidental antics end up with him tumbling down some stairs with a donk blorp thwonk, dwong blong splat into the lurk button. That was the most epic lurk announcement I've literally ever seen.
Indeed. Thank you so much for lurking. Lurk away.
Lurk away, and thank you for the creative writing.
Right.
It is amazing.
Hello there, Chaz. How are we doing?
Delightful.
And
I'm too young for that reference, potentially, but I also haven't seen a lot of movies, so I don't know.
Twice a day. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cues twice a day. Perfect. Yeah, no, Yossa for Yous. I'm afraid that doesn't ring a bell my end.
Hang on, you guys, just a second. I'm sorry. I'm getting a...
But the most surprising thing I found about Bernard Hill's tragic passing, though, was that he was only 54 when he played Theoden. I would have sworn blind that he was at least in his late 60s in that film. Please, God, don't let me look that old when I'm 54.
It's like I'm trying to think of other people that I know around that age. Yeah, I don't know.
Hello there, sure. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I know 54 is, but you cannot look as old as him. Seriously, he just looked ancient. I mean, okay, when we first met him, he was all made up to look ancient,
right?
But even post recovery, he looked a good deal older than 54.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's Chance going to say? So, and who was in Boys from the Black Stuff? Yes, he was. Yes, now you mention it. To be fair, that is my response when I see anything, even vaguely Lord of the Rings related. Because I haven't. There's an anime film coming out in December, War of the Rohirrim. Based, it's going to be around about the appendices about Helm Hammerhand, which I don't know if you know, but anime Lord of the Rings. Yes, please.
That sounds awesome.
Can't wait. Well, do you know what? That sounds sensible. Glad you're back, and thank you for coming along and slamming us with that lurk announcement. That's great. I love that. But a lot of people have been taking breaks from social media lately, I know, and I don't know. I don't do social media. This is the closest to social media I do.
Lies. You do Facebook.
I do. I go on Facebook to announce that I have streams coming up. Does that count?
Well, you do that, and also you interact on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ew. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Sorry, it's just lovely because you like my stuff all the time, and I'm like, yay, Dan's there.
Yeah, because I do like
taking breaks. Well, and like, think for us in the States, it's an election year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
And so, yeah.
I didn't know that. Do you know what? That's entirely passed me by. I didn't know that Donald Trump was on the ballot again.
Oh, he's being sarcastic.
Yes, entirely. Sorry.
Right. I forgot.
The book would see. I love Mark Lawrence. He's the one who wrote Prince of Thorns series, which has got the worst protagonist in existence. If you don't like unlikable protagonists, you would hate that book. He is an outright murderer. Do not like him. But I haven't heard of that book. I shall have a look.
It wouldn't burn.
Yeah, but so War of the Rohirrim though is written by Philippa Boyens, who obviously helped write the original films. So I'm hopeful. Same in the UK, America. Yeah, because we're in an election year as well. We just had some local elections, and yeah, the world's on fire.
Yeah. Well, and I think with the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Sorry, before you have 15 different entrances that you just copy and paste. I love that so much.
Fanfiction guy, are you like me, an aging theater kid who just loves the drama? Because I'm feeling it.
That's amazing.
Name, please.
Yes, exactly. You can't say something like that and not let us read it.
That does it. I'm starting our Discord and all that stuff because we keep getting such lovely recommendations from people, and I keep not doing it. So I'm going to make a little note to myself on my desk. Also, welcome to the second inaugural stream from my new space.
Oh, of course. Sorry, Jules E-Cat, are you the Jules I know, E-Cat? Because you just mentioned from being from Australia. So if you are, we need to talk and we need to get you on here. If not, then apologies. I'm presuming. It's called Summoner with a star.
Interesting.
That was a choice.
Yeah. Have not heard of that one.
Neither.
What's it about? Tell us more. And in that case, Julesy Cats is one, along with me, Jen and Gary, is one of the founding members of the IWF.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
The famous.
And then could not make the streams because of, I can't remember what reason she gave, but she didn't. We asked her whenever me and Jen started it back in September, I think it was, and she said no. So you're here.
We're glad to have you.
We are. Jules and I wrote a novel together.
So sweet.
That's exciting.
I remember you telling me about that. Sorry, Jules. Dan talks about you a lot.
Just a little. It's almost as if I love her. Yeah, we've known each other since we were 20, I want to say, 19, 20. We've known each other a good long time. So, family. Just like Gary and Jen.
I have friends like that. That's why I moved office, because my friend that I've known since I was 19 moved in with us. So he's going to stay for a bit. He's also my editor, and he might be watching. Hi, Nico, if you're watching. So, found family.
Found family. Yeah. I mean, real family. Yeah. Found family. Yeah.
Depends. I have also good real family.
Shush. It's not fair.
Not everybody, but I did just bust my ass throwing this big party for my cousin, and I had my other cousins come to stay who I haven't seen in 5 years, and I feel lucky for that. Not that I didn't get to see them for 5 years, but that I love them so much that we get back together and it's like we're never apart.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I have some crummy family, but I also have some really rad actual family. They might also have found the stream because I talked about everything that I'm doing this weekend. They're like, tell us about your big career change. I'm like, okay, well.
I go on the internet and I talk, and I pretend to know what I'm talking about. That's how I describe it. I was going to say something deep and meaningful.
I'm catching up on chat. So if my eyes get big, I'm like,
oh yeah. A guy called Fletcher who lives in a village called Pelt. Oh, okay. Because Mark Lawrence has written good few books. I did enjoy the Thorns series. Again, very dark, very grim. If you're not into that stuff, you won't like it. But
Grimdark.
Anyway, so we were going to talk about responsibility and
Writing accountability.
Accountability, that was what I was looking for. Spent 30 minutes describing everything I love. Yeah, really, and of course I talk about you because you're amazing. So yeah, I have not been. So I spoke to you. Was it last week, the week before, about that little realization I had about kind of losing the drive.
I think that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
We were talking about how we're all like,
yeah,
a little burnt out.
So that's been. I am trying to get myself back into the swing of it, but I find I'm very easily distractible at the moment. That's where I'm at. And we can. So, how about we just describe where we're at, and then we can talk about how to, as you say, make ourselves more accountable.
So you're distractible.
I'm distractible and unmotivated. That's
bad combo.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gotten down to write and then gotten distracted, or is it more like even the idea occurs to you and you get distracted?
Not even that. It's a case of I'll do it later.
Mm-hmm.
It's apathy more than anything else. It's just I could write, or I could go and watch Shogun.
Right. What about you, Erica? You're generally pretty prolific, so not to put expectations on you, just
I want to write, and I have ideas and keep having more ideas and more ideas and more ideas, and so I'll like jot them down so that I don't perseverate on them.
good word.
I have so much other stuff going on that right now, if it's not pertaining to work, it's not. There's nothing getting done. So like the D&D thing that I did, like that's for work.
Fair play.
Chazaroo says, I think I've just discovered my apathy is being caused by an iron deficiency. Chaz,
Ooh.
I had a diagnosed iron deficiency when I was pregnant, and I can attest that when you are iron deficient, your entire life changes. And you take an iron pill and suddenly, yeah, so I feel it. As for me, yeah.
Sorry,
maybe
before you
she's
start,
born with
Amber,
it.
let me just say, fanfiction guy, yeah, by all means, put it up and we'll have a look at it. Sorry,
I have it on my list. No, it's okay. I was gonna say maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's ADD. I'm spinning a lot of plates right now, and writing is always the first plate to get dropped, even though writing and running, I said to Gary months ago, are just like so beneficial to my well-being.
Yeah.
But I started a business, and I have a small child and a partner, and my friend just moved in, and like all these things are happening, and it's been a lot. So I started a business this year, so I used to like write
things
to like wind down, and now I'm so exhausted by the time it's time to go to bed that the thought of sitting up with my laptop and writing is like just put a bullet in my brain. Like, I can't do it, you guys. So that's violent language. I should not. Oh, thank you, Chaz. Sorry, I'm just glancing over at the chat. It's a lot to take on. And the thing, too, is that I was only diagnosed with ADD a couple years ago. And, I got the like, well, you must be so high functioning because I left a very lucrative career, and, I got a degree. I did all these things. I'm very productive. But I'm always like, I'm not being productive enough. So it feels to me very silly that I can't make time to write. But then when I step out and look at like neurotypical people, I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's not a sad thing. That's just a like,
Yeah, just an
you know,
observation situation.
yeah. Well, and I can be very productive, and people can get used to that version of me when they meet me, and I'm in hyper productive mode. But when I'm in a mode like this, where I'm shifting and changing and figuring things out, it's not going to be as productive. It's going to be like neurotypical level productive, maybe a
Yeah.
little less. So learning about the ebb and flow too is important for me, and it's why I talk about my diagnosis as an adult, because I think it might help other people understand, like, oh yeah.
So I have people trying to convince me that I have ADHD. Obviously, I don't have ADHD, because if I had ADHD, I would fidget a lot and lose concentration, and have a poor memory, and change topics all the time. I do none of those. It's completely.
Have I told you what my signpost was for I don't have ADD?
Right.
I don't have ADD. When I have a paper to write, I will sit down and I won't move or drink or eat or pee for 8 hours, and I'll write the whole paper. I
That's
focus so good.
Exactly.
Hyper focus. Mm-hmm.
The term hyper focus broke my brain. I was like, oh, oh my god, like with the.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too, is like sometimes people meet me when I have lots of access to hyper focus, and then I'm producing like 2 or 3 times as much as a neurotypical person, and they're like, wow, they're so productive. And then I start to like, I ebb out, and they're like, what happened to it? It's not working anymore.
Why is my brain stopped? Ugh.
Hence robots and magic. Like,
that does sound cool, Fictionary Guy. That is, I will have to give it a whirl.
I'm telling you, I will start the Discord this week, and then we can start having people post their little prompts, and we can have a discussion area for that for off stream.
And Jules is kind of selling herself short here, completely out of character, obviously.
I don't see that as a sell yourself short. I see that as I started a PhD.
No. As in it's just to give me an excuse to write a novel. She doesn't need an excuse to write stuff. The amount of stuff that woman churns out is. I mean, until I met you two, she was the only person I'd met who could write thousands upon thousands of words in a single sitting, and the amount of reading she's done for a PhD is just. Ugh. So no, it's not. It wasn't just to write a novel. Don't give me that rubbish.
Chaz says, I did a really interesting course on neurodiversity the other day. I think I have all the symptoms, but I'm still the most normal person I know, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, and here's the thing about mental health that I think we're starting to course correct, is that everybody shows signs of narcissism, and like everybody has narcissism, everybody has psychosis, everybody has a little bit of all these different things. Erica and Dan, right? Like we've all have obsessive tendencies. We all have over grooming habits that we do. Some people pick at their nails, some people pick at their skin, some people have trichotillomania. Like it's when it becomes like pathological and difficult for your life that you need to start looking at it as, oh, potentially this is diagnosis worthy. It's just an over presentation and like so much that it's inhibiting you, which I have to. I also manage a trichotillomania support group, so I have to. Hi, I have trichotillomania.
You never told us you manage a support group.
Yeah, and I have to tell people a lot, like, well, are your symptoms? They come to me and they're like, do I have? And I'm like, well, are your symptoms stopping you from doing other things? Are they causing you significant distress? Like that's when it becomes. Those are my 2 big questions. I should just become a counselor, I guess. I'm ready.
Think you would be incredible. I've told you this before. I think you would be amazing. But that's a conversation for another day.
Another day. Sorry, you're getting post-party very tired, Ember. Fiction focused question. What types of medical conditions could arise in a fantasy world? Well, stop right there. Eddie,
Yes.
it's a fantasy world.
Yeah.
You decide, you are God, but I will read the rest for posterity. What types of medical conditions could arise in a fantasy world for the newly started Got a princess who shows signs of type 1 diabetes, but because it started being looked into, they don't have a name for it, and the protag ends up in a discussion about what he knows, which some medical-focused demons find suspicious that he knows so much about it, yet doesn't show. We're gonna have to start Discord. This is an on the Discord.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
It's like so you go into fantasy name generators and
That things to be amazing as well.
you make up a name for it and you just go
well, I think more along the lines, it's not that they don't, it's not that he needs a name for it, it's just that
but yeah, you do the thing.
These people have discovered it, and it's so new, it's such new research that the people in the world haven't thought to call it anything. So
which means you can name it and you can change it. So if you don't want it to be a one-to-one mirror for diabetes, you can have, especially given that everybody's showing different symptoms. So like if you
I mean, the way I read that wasn't so much as they need to get a name for it. The way I read that was just, it's so early in the research that they're only just realizing that diseases exist, as opposed to just being, I could be wrong, but
Fanfictioneer does not have diabetes. Got it. If I were you, I would actually go to a forum, several forums. I would visit forums, and you can lurk, and depending on the forum's rules, you may be able to ask questions. I think that's the kind of thing that people in a forum would be happy to see. If someone came to me and said, like, I'm going to write a character with trichotillomania, I'd be like, great, let me tell you all of the things that I've seen in media that are incorrect and like what you can do to represent this properly. So I always say go straight to the source. Like, people are, yeah.
That's really cool.
What?
But also you've got things like science museums where you can go and see what the early medical practice looked like. Obviously, there was, for a long period of time, leeches were the go-to medical treatment for everything. But
Hattie has the consumption. We must bleed her out with leeches.
Mm-hmm. And also because it's fantasy. You can have magical treatments. B, you can have magical diseases. C, you can have diseases of magic.
Oh, I want to talk about a thing in my book, but I don't want to do
it. I read this really cool series. They're still working on, I think there might be 1 or 2 books left. But it's like mages and dragons, and there's this one clan of mages that they can basically do a diagnostic like scan on someone, and they can project like all of the things that are going on within someone's body. So like, this is what your heart rate is, and this is what this is, and they can like almost do like a full body x-ray scan just with magic. And it was one of the coolest like just ideas that I was like, that's really, so before these mages had come into play in this book series though, I can't even remember how they did any of that, because
wait, Erica, what book series is this?
Let me find it. I can't remember what the name of the actual series is called.
Yeah, midges are little buggers. Yeah, they bleed you, and you don't want them. You don't want to be bled.
What's a midgie?
A midge, it's just very tiny insects that just fly around and land on you and bite you and suck your blood and then bugger off again.
Oh, here we go. Fanfictioneer. Yeah, if you have a family member who you feel comfortable asking about this kind of thing, that is the best. Like, ask her first. she will give you, I'm sure, good insight, unless you guys have a, this kind of relationship. But going back to our earlier conversation about family.
But yeah, that's quick. Oh, no. Charlene, so if you're in RPG, check out Limitless Heroics. I have not heard of that one.
Oh, that's interesting.
I have not heard of that one. Thank you. There's a link to anybody who wants to.
That's cool.
And so Julesy says, like, yeah, this is why I love fantasy. So many freaking cool solutions. And it goes back to, I think, a post that I saw ages ago about fantasy worlds that have racism.
Mm-hmm.
And so many fantasy
speciesism.
Well, yeah, right. So like elves, species, race, ? But like so many people just create a fantasy world and they're like, oh, and then the elves are oppressed, or the orcs are oppressed. And I saw a thread once where people were like, okay, but you're making this world up. You don't even have to include that element in this world. Blew my mind and also inspired my own fantasy world building, because I was like, yeah, you're right. Maybe it's a world where we don't look at other people and say you look different or you're from different families and therefore we oppress you. Like, let's look at other things. Let's create something else. Like, it's hard to like say this, but I think that sometimes fantasy authors are not creative enough. There, I said it.
Yeah, it's a valid point to make. I mean, I suppose my argument following on from that would be, though, we only have our own knowledge and experience to go off, and let's face it, the human race is and always has been extremely tribal. And so instinctively we write what we know in that sense. But yeah, and it would take a bit more effort to imagine that world where that isn't the case. So yeah, I think I agree with you. That's a very good way of putting it.
I will say Dragon Age did something different where, well, no, because the elves still were oppressed, but I liked where Dragon Age and that world went with mages versus non-mages.
So proper with orcs, yes.
Yes, I'm saying. But at least in that world, they did have fantasy racism too, but there was a whole other social structure where if you were born with magic... Does anybody do Dragon Age? No?
Yeah, I did it quite a while ago. It's a good few years old.
Okay. If you're born with magic, you're susceptible to demons. And so these people are kept cloistered together and under control. And if their magic gets too powerful, yada yada, I'm not explaining it well, they could actually be lobotomized. So they do not succumb to their magic. And so there becomes this like rift between magic and non-magic people. And I thought, like, let's just nix the fantasy racism and focus on this. Like, this by itself is a whole world. Like, dig in. That's so interesting. How do different cultures handle their magic casters? Do some of them actually, like, allow them freedom? Do some of them not? I just think, like, again, I have this thing where it's like, be more creative.
Looking at the social setup rather than the race setup.
Yeah. I challenged myself not to put racism and sexism in my books, and it's, challenging, but I want people to come in and have like other adventures, especially if you have experienced sexism and racism. It's like, well, here we don't have to do that.
And I think you said it yourself earlier, with fantasy, you can do literally whatever you want, so.
And I guess my thesis is like not enough people take that at its word.
No, and I'm certainly very guilty of that.
See, and in my story, there is, I guess, localized racism in certain places, and it is all very much explained and there is it in the end.
You were going to say reframed too.
No,
right?
I was going to say revealed.
Revealed, okay.
because there were more things at play.
I like that. That's another way you can go. Like, it's not just based on, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm getting too excited.
Because first, let's have a look at some of the comments. Because
and the name of that book series is called So there are two different series. The first one is called Scales in Spells by A.J. Sherwood and Jocelyn Drake. So they are gay romance novels because that's what I like to read.
Because that's your bag.
That is. And then the second, they continue it afterwards, and I think Wings and Wands, I think, is the second series that they're working on, but it's very cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, I think that
yeah, fanfics, deep cut. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, I agree with fanfiction about if it's between humans and elves, it falls under the speciesism rather than racism.
Yes.
Okay. Counterpoint though, elves and humans can create babies, so that's interspecies at that point.
But if you're going to look at it, it depends. Again, that depends on the world, because some fantasy worlds, no, they can't. Other fantasy worlds, so like Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings, yes, they can interbreed, but the child can only be either human or elf. They essentially have to choose.
I cut my teeth on Dragonlance, which has half elves and is obviously a D&D story, which it's my pride and joy. Go back to your home. Go back to your home.
Yeah, and that is a good point though, because at the end of the day, character development is a thing, and it is very easy to make a character unlikable to begin with, like just introducing a speck of racism, just that way they can overcome it. It's potentially a bit of a cop out, maybe. Just let's go the easy route and make them racist, kind of thing.
But then that also comes into the world building aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I will say that some people are going to want to use fantasy worlds to explore their own lived experience, and by introducing that in the fantasy setting and doing, like, I guess what I'm saying is you can do it. You absolutely can do it, and you can do it well. I think it's a crutch for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to discount that, like, if you have, and same with sexism, like if you want to explore the sexism that you faced in a fantasy world, that is absolutely okay. That does not make you lacking in creativity. But I think if those elements are going to be there, there has to be like reasoning from the author.
And that kind of goes into the whole be consistent with your world building.
Which is why I'm writing all 7 of my novels before I start editing and publishing anything, because a lot changes as I write, and I've got the ADHD, and
totally valid. Totally valid. Maybe she's born with it.
Yep.
Maybe it's ADD. Sorry.
And just to agree with Charlene, if you're going to play a game with all of these elements inside, you've got to make sure that everybody's on board and that you're not going to step on anybody's toes, even by accident, because especially for the things that Erica, Charlene, and I all do, involves keeping people safe. No matter what the medium we happen to be using at the time. Actually, it involves world building.
Chaz, you know we are here to help you.
Yeah, 100%. And also, world building is mostly the story of the people in the world.
It's Tolkien describing the bridge, but just don't use 3 pages.
Just don't spend all that time describing the bridge.
3 paragraphs maximum.
So
If it's a
this
very important bridge.
A bridge, yeah.
book
Oh, yes.
is
Astonishing Random Tales.
the best thing ever for world building to start with. Like, seriously, because
Random tables are beautiful. I put several random tables in my book because just they're the best.
well, and okay, so this book, it goes, you can pantheon, magic, planet, realm, government, population type, building a population, creating an economy, customs, laws, their consequences, establishing beliefs, businesses, guilds and unions, local color. Like, so those are all tables that you can roll on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is, so it's just like, I don't know, for me, I love this because it just, you can get really nitty gritty with it as a starting place.
Yeah, sorry, fanfic, FFG. I forgot to put the names up. Sorry. But yeah, so sorry, Erica. This one was directed at you. So.
Whomever's top right, you've given me an idea from that story's mechanic you mentioned earlier for a unique skill. A single dryad has the affinity for. A dryad my prototype visits will use their connection to elemental spirits to scan a person's body, and fire spirits will represent damaged areas by resting on the places damaged, while light, yellow, or earth green spirits in that area will hover above the body if they're fine. That is rad.
That's
Yes,
really cool.
yes, it is.
That's
Also, I
amazing.
hope it's okay if I read it out loud, but I figure if people are watching, they may not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, fanfic. Just get that written. Fanfic. Just we need that. That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
It's funny, in my book, we go like across the world, and I always focus on food and fashion. Those are just like the 2 things I hone in on to give you an idea that like we're in a different culture now. And I even go to the point where like some characters don't like some foods. So we go somewhere where they're eating a lot of fish and one character is starving themselves and only eating like lettuce because there's just so much fish.
I'd be like that. I'm not a big seafood eater.
And poor Dan in the corner eating his lovely little salad. He
Indeed.
picked the mushrooms off as well.
I don't eat salad either. Come on.
Oh dear.
Whereas whenever I do world building, it tends to be the physical landscape by because I draw maps, history, and including a lot of warfare
and bridges.
And sorry,
nothing. Sorry, I said bridges.
Plenty of bridges.
I'm triggered now.
And architecture. I do like architecture. So I focus. I spend far too much time describing buildings, as Jules will attest. Deck of Worlds. I don't recall that one.
Deck of Worlds.
Oh, Jules, can you do me a favor and not mention things like that? Because
no, hey, shush, you shush.
No. Erica has no impulse control whatsoever.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erica is now Googling.
I found them already.
Yeah.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, theys and gays. There we
go. Jules has just cost Erica more money.
Well, and okay, so Dan, like I work the reverse of you. I need the tables and the prompts first, and then I can go do those things. But mine is, I have to go find the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love.
Fair play.
Chaz says they have to start with a map.
Yeah.
Have to start with a map. That's where I start. I start big, and then I drill down, and then I go back out, and then I drill back down, and then maybe she's born with it.
I see. I just doodle. I love drawing maps. I will just pick up a pen and I doodled some maps earlier today just because I had a pen.
Where did you go?
I had a pen and some paper, and I was trying to use some ink.
It looks like more than a doodle, but
no, that is literally what it was. It was just like okay.
See, and I found a generator that because that is not a skill I have, is to just doodle maps. So I found a generator where I can put in like how many continents I want and how many like countries I want within the continent. Mm-hmm. And I think also it's very it can get very detailed. I haven't played enough with it to get down to the nitty gritty because I don't typically need that. I'm like, I just need a world map. That's all I need. And it spits it out for me. It's very lovely.
Oh, we have a first-time chat from Fluffy Unicorn Poof. I use the rice method. I like the organic shapes.
Oh yes,
What is the rice method?
Is it like the dice method where you like take a bunch of dice and you throw them out on a table and then you just draw around them?
Also, welcome, Fluffy Unicorn Poof.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah. But you can also do like orange peel. Just peel off an orange and then just draw around the thing. There was a fantastic post, I think it might have been Facebook, where in winter, when the snow, you know, you get that compacted snow that's when it starts to melt and it's basically just a big blob of ice, you can sketch that and that looks very mountainous and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are blowing my mind right now. I can't.
People using dry beans, yes.
My poor cold medicine addled brain. I'm just like, and then you can throw things on a piece of paper and draw them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Oh, yeah. I did more like that. I had locations before I had a map, and so I spaced them out based on the story that I was telling, and then filled it out. That said, I don't have like mountains and valleys like that drilled down. I shouldn't say that because if people read it, they'll be like, "There's supposed to be a valley there." Whoops.
Yeah, so I doodle worlds all the time. So it's I'm constantly changing. So I do tend to write series of stories with the same characters and how they travel across the world. So I tend to start off, I've already written a couple of stories, then I design the world and say, okay, they visited here, what's over here, and how they're going to visit there. Mm-hmm. Try the dates and walnuts method.
What is the dates and walnuts? Are we making things up now? Are people trolling?
I think people are trolling now. Yeah, just jelly beans and Smarties, then you eat them. Absolutely, just throw Smarties on the table, draw around them, shove them in your mouth. Yeah, of course you're not. Of course you're not. You tried it once.
What if you take a picture of your cat box before you clean it out? And okay,
why not? Why not?
Just kidding.
Why not?
Because there's poops in there, and they would make the mountains. You know, that's
Dan. In the private chat tab thing, because I'm not logged in, that's the generator thing that I use.
Oh, okay.
Dead ass, I'm not in the private chat. Oh, there it is. There's one chat there. Also, it's 2:03. How did we not talk about accountability? We just went off on a tangent again.
Yeah. Let's go off on a tangent. Never happened.
But before we even logged on, we had talked about doing world building. So
we did indeed, yeah. So we've done what we said we were going to do. That's the whole thing.
That might be our whole stream because we keep coming back to it.
Well, I think it's like world building, in its essence, is like. I mean, it goes. Okay, so Dan, I'm going to talk about your book and your YouTube channel. So I'm preparing you that I'm going to talk about it. So like in Dan's book and on his YouTube channel, he talks about like the fictional framework, right? Like you have your character and you've got your setting and you've got the obstacle. And like the setting is one of the core pieces of telling a story. And so if you don't have a good setting, which includes world building and everything in this, like, the story is going to fall apart. So you have to have it, and it's a core piece of what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be, and the setting can be anything from the world all the way down to the room. It depends really on where the scale of what your story is.
Yes.
And the stakes and the point of your story. You know, it's.
Big chat today.
There is a debate about dates, so I don't think we need to worry about. But yes, please do talk about dates. Continue talking about dates. I was going to say something deep and meaningful, but it's gone.
The Dan catchphrase. Drink.
As that, as we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. What's the other one? Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. My son hates that one. He hates it. And I love
But
it.
now it's, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and we won't write 3 pages.
And we
about
won't write 3
milk
pages about it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or maybe we will. You never know. It's
If we have to for the story. But we're going to Rohan. Sorry. Someday
Because
I will
that
find that
story-
passage and read it in total for everyone so they can understand.
understand Ember's frustration. Yes.
I love Tolkien. I love the Lord. But bro, you lost me.
The bridge has traumatized Ember and her ability as to use her brain. No,
He
the
wasn't
bridge,
Dickens. He wasn't paid by
bridge.
the word. He just wrote all those words for fun.
And he enjoyed it. Why not?
I mean, have you read The Grapes of Wrath when the first whole chapter is about dirt?
I had to read The Grapes of Wrath in high school.
Me too.
I don't even know what the Grapes of Wrath is.
It's John Steinbeck. It's actually like I really
It's a good
enjoyed
book.
it. I enjoyed it as a whole. I just remember the whole first chapter. He describes the dirt.
Okay, I forgot that because it gets real intense after that, but I will say 'twas the best of times, 'twas the worst of times, 'twas an entire paragraph with nothing but commas because Dickens got paid by the word.
Steinbeck.
I'm just saying, like,
Oh,
there's
okay.
the dirt chapter, and then there's the opening to A Tale of Two Cities, which made me want to scream, but the rest of the book, which is really good.
Chaz,
I've
it was-
actually written
it's like-
several stories based purely around bridges because I say we'll cross that bridge when we come to it so often. I've written several stories set on or around or based on bridges.
Chaz, I accept that you are razzing me because you love me. And if you do that, I will accept your love. I love that you're comfortable enough with me to troll me now.
Fury's
And-
Bridge, yes, that one, Jules. But also,
And Chaz, the Stein, it's about the Great Depression. You're really, I mean, it's fine.
It's the great depressing book about the Great Depression. About
And
a
a
family
chapter
that
of
is
dirt.
displaced from the Dust Bowl, which was literally a huge part of the US that just went to dust. And they couldn't grow food anymore, and then they had to leave.
oh, good. We're comfortable with you as well. Thanks for
So
coming
sick.
along.
Anyway,
and,
it is pumpkin time.
I
for me.
found them to know with. Oh,
Okay.
Manasite. Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Right, guys. Well, we are 8 minutes past our closing time because again, we don't never ever get distracted. Yeah, rotate your crops.
You have to
absolutely.
rotate your crops. You have to let them rest. Yeah.
Well, it depends because also you might need to get raised fields like Tiwanaku, or we're not
You
going down.
cannot
No, we're finishing.
Monocrop acres and acres of soil. You can't just, that's it. The end.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody watching, I have a request.
Oh, God.
Send us here in the Midwest, like as little non-damaging vibes as possible from this storm that we're gonna get whammied with. Like we're gonna get whammied, so like send. I don't even know what that looks like.
Protection vibes. Protection vibes.
Like, basically, just send Erica love and support.
Yeah, because we're gonna get hit. It's just I don't want my car crushed by because we're predicted to get grapefruit-sized hail.
I just don't want you to live in a house with a giant hole in it.
That too.
Okay,
Take shelter,
but
be safe.
it can. Okay, so the stuff can be replaced. And it's a huge pain in the ass to have to replace it. So if it could just not, that would be great.
Please be safe.
Yeah.
We
We love
will.
you.
We will. We will be. We're going to be camping out in the basement here in about an hour till. I mean, we may just stay downstairs. Who knows?
Yeah, see, we've got a passive archangel and an arch Calademon to protect thy mortal. Yeah, see, there we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
We here in the Midwest appreciate that.
So, as we go, shall we tell people where they can find us? Erica.
I am on Twitch and YouTube at RPG Play Therapy.
I am at Robots and Magic wherever you get your internet. I will resume my Twitch streams very soon. I don't know when. Yay. Go ahead, Dan.
And you can find me on YouTube at the RPG Therapist, and I will be doing a live stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. British time, so I think that's 3 p.m. Eastern. Just because I've had lots of comments and questions recently on my channel, and I thought it would be polite to answer some of them.
I'll
So
be
if
there.
you want to ask some questions about RPGs in therapy, just want to talk, I'll be there for a little while. Come along and join the mayhem.
That's very cool.
And
Thank
Chad,
you so
thanks
much,
for-
everybody, for joining us today. That's been a good, active conversation. And obviously, Amber, Erica, lovely talking to you as usual. Yeah, and join us same time next week for more rambling and sticking on topic.
Maybe. And goodbye.
Take care. Bye bye.